You don't avoid people completely. You just don't feel the need to be around them often. You can socialize. You know how to talk. You understand the flow. But after a while, something in you pulls back. And you'd rather be alone, not lonely, just alone. And that raises a quiet question. Why does something that energizes others drain you so quickly? It shows up in small, ordinary moments. A message comes in and you don't reply immediately. Not because you're busy, but because you don't feel like engaging. Plans get suggested. You hesitate. You might go, but part of you is already thinking about leaving. In conversations, you listen more than you speak. You observe. You notice details others miss. Tone shifts. Subtle changes in behavior, but staying present takes effort. After some time, your energy starts fading. Not dramatically, just quietly. So you withdraw, you go back to your space. And that space feels better, more stable, more predictable. Over time, this pattern shapes your identity. You become the quiet one, independent, self-contained, but also slightly misunderstood. Because from the outside, it can look like disinterest, or distance, or even arrogance. But internally, it doesn't feel like that. It feels like regulation, which leads to a deeper question. What exactly is your mind trying to regulate? You're not antisocial, you're not disconnected, and you're not lacking social skills. What you're experiencing is a different threshold for stimulation. Your brain processes social input more deeply, which means it also tires more quickly. So instead of constantly seeking interaction, you become selective, not because you don't value people, but because your system values balance. And that's not a flaw, it's an adaptation. But what makes social interaction more demanding for your brain? Your brain is constantly managing energy, and social interaction is one of the most complex tasks it handles. It involves reading facial expressions, interpreting tone, predicting responses, and adjusting your behavior in real time. For some people, this happens effortlessly. Their brains process social input more loosely. But for you, processing is deeper, more detailed. Instead of skimming interactions, your brain analyzes them. Think of it like this. Some people are surface readers. They move quickly through information. You are more like a deep reader. You pause, you interpret, you connect meaning. But depth comes with a cost. It requires more cognitive energy, which is why social interaction feels draining after a certain point. There's also the role of dopamine. At first, interaction can feel stimulating, but when it becomes predictable or repetitive, your brain reduces the reward signal. So instead of feeling energized, you feel neutral or tired, and your system responds by pulling you back to a lower stimulation environment, usually solitude. But here's the important part. If your brain prefers depth over frequency, how do you build connection without exhaustion? Not by forcing yourself to be more social, but by aligning with how your brain works. First, choose depth over volume. Focus on fewer, more meaningful interactions. Your brain responds better to depth than repetition. For example, one long, thoughtful conversation can feel more fulfilling than multiple short ones. Second, set an internal time boundary. Decide in advance how long you'll stay engaged. This reduces mental load because your brain knows there's an endpoint. For example, going to a gathering with the intention of staying for a limited time. Third, allow recovery time intentionally. Give yourself space after social interaction. Your nervous system needs time to return to baseline. For example, spending quiet time alone after being around people. Fourth, engage at your natural pace. You don't need to match others' energy. Participate in a way that feels sustainable. For example, listening more and speaking when it feels natural. Fifth, reframe your need for space. Stop seeing it as avoidance. It's regulation. This removes unnecessary self-judgment and builds self-trust. For example, recognizing that stepping away is taking care of your energy. So maybe you don't socialize less because you lack something. Maybe you do it because your brain processes more. You don't skim interactions. You absorb them. You don't just hear words. You interpret meaning. and that changes how much you can handle. Some people are like open windows, constantly letting energy flow in and out. You are more like a deep well. You take in less, but what you take in goes further. And when you understand that, your behavior starts making sense. There's nothing wrong with needing less noise, because not all connection comes from constant interaction. Some of it comes from presence, from attention, from depth. And maybe you were never distant. Maybe you were just selective with where your energy goes. So the next time you feel the urge to step back, you don't have to question it. You can trust it, because your mind isn't pulling you away from people. It's guiding you toward balance. If this way of understanding your mind stays with you, you'll find more like it on echoed veils.